How are we doing, everybody? I hope everybody is having a great Tuesday and you are not only getting to your goals, achieving your dreams, and putting in the constant and consistent work daily. I am back on here because not only is today a great day, but it's also more continuation of me putting in the steps to get to my goals, pumping out more content, giving you guys the advice and the motivation and the talks that you need, and giving you the reality of life. Because I feel like a lot of people used to be like me, where especially I would say ever since I got let go of the restaurant manager job that I was doing at Hula Hands, and then going from job to job, which I was also landing management positions in still the hospitality and or fast food industry. But realistically, I felt so stuck. And the reason why is because the job that I got after being fired and let go from my restaurant manager job was a manager position at a catering hall. And although that did provide me income to help myself after a month and a half of not finding a job, I honestly knew very quickly, unfortunately, that I was not fit for that environment, because the type of behavior and the type of culture I was seeing in that environment did not fit me. It was very negative, and it was only a matter of time until I wasn't even working there. To then move on to being a restaurant general manager, that position not working out, although I was there for, I would say, almost 2 months. That company had no structure, they had no training system, and I can say I was worked to the bone. 100% they did take advantage of me, but it was only due to certain wording in the offer letter they gave me. So I was a manager, general manager to be exact, and I was making $67,000 a year annually, which came out to a little over $1,000 a week. So the problem for me specifically was that I was working 6 days a week, 67 hours. Now, at the interview, they did tell me I was going to be working 6 days, but they did not tell me I would be working anywhere from 10 to 13 hours a day. Wednesday being my longest day, which was a guaranteed 13 hours, because I would come in at 12 p.m. noon and they closed at 1 a.m. So I wouldn't be leaving until at least 1:30. That, you can imagine, not only drained me, but also took up a lot of my time, not allowing me to make content, not allowing me to go to the gym, and also not allowing me to even go to church on Sunday, as I still had to go to work on those days. And even with the catering hall I had before this, there were so many times that we had weddings, parties on Sundays that I had to be there by like 10 or 11 a.m., which didn't allow me to go to church. And although I was making decent money at both of those positions, I would say one of the two biggest things that I did, more so at the catering hall, was I was completely distracted. For the longest of time, I know one of my biggest goals is not only clearing my debt, but also putting myself in a position where I could live on my own and support myself financially. But like you've seen in my previous videos, just due to the fact that I've been working so much and also been out of college since the fall semester of 2022, I haven't had, to be honest, access to many girls my age. Yes, I have dating apps, but as you all know, those are terrible. Those do not work at all. So my main problem, not only while also at Hula Hands, as you've also have heard, but while at the catering hall, there were a bunch of servers and people that I worked with who were similar in age but also younger. And the problem was I was so distracted on trying to get to know more girls, seeing all the pretty girls, and also just being around more female attention. It honestly did not make me focus on my job more than I should have. I was always talking, I was always just being very friendly and like having fun with the staff, getting the work done, of course, but not really representing what it means to be a manager, which I can understand definitely did not make me look good in the eyes of the general manager who did hire me. So I can definitely say one of my biggest issues for being stuck was the fact that I was so constantly distracted and not taking advantage of the positions that I was in, especially being at Hula Hands, where the money I was making, I did put it to good use, but I can definitely say I was spending a lot on not only mentorships online, trying to make more money, buying different courses, buying electronics that I didn't need, and just wasting money overall in places that wasn't warranted, because at the end of the day, the only thing that's really going to benefit me is me focusing on the things that I know are for my future, such as saving money, investing, learning new skills, and also creating content rather than consuming content. So the biggest thing that I learned, especially from getting fired from all these different positions leading up to the new position that I'm going to eventually start, was one of them being that I need to not only focus on myself, but I need to put away the distractions that have stopped me from continuing in these opportunities that I've had. Me getting distracted by going after girls and also just talking so much, not really representing being a manager and doing what I was supposed to be doing, allowed me to not really, put myself in the position that I was supposed to be. But it also allowed me to, worst of all, as you've seen, get fired. And not that I'm blaming anybody, I'm definitely blaming myself. I take a full accountability, because at my age there's no reason why I should be distracted at work when it's about my money. But I can definitely say, being the way that I grew up, working so much, not having too much of an active social life, at least not until recently in the later years of my 20s, it definitely did show me that although I did miss out on certain things, the things that I have been doing are what's more important, because those are going to get me to where I want to be in the future, which is going to be more beneficial than focusing on the now. Especially since I, as a man who wants to be very financially successful and or wants to provide for my own family that I create while also providing for my family right now, it's very important that I take my finances seriously, because in order to be a reliable man, you have to be useful, not only to yourself, but to those around you. And if you keep getting fired like I was getting fired, if you keep getting distracted by females who give you attention and or spending money on them when they do, like I was, you 100% will see yourself not only stagnating, but you will see yourself regressing in certain ways, because you won't be focused on the consistency that will propel you to where you want to be. There's so many times that when guys get a girlfriend, or once they start giving more attention to a female or giving more attention to distractions, they stop going to the gym, they stop working on side projects, they stop going to work on time, and they stop doing the things that have been making them as successful to get them to that point. And that's something that I definitely learned, that with the new position I'm about to start, I cannot let that happen. 100%, I am going to treat this as a career because I want to grow here. But at the same time, I'm tired of job hopping. I'm tired of losing opportunities that I've been lucky enough to get because I've chosen to make poor decisions when I'm in the environment that is supposed to help me grow. And I definitely did that at Hula Hands. I did that at the catering hall. I quit the job as a general manager because that was 100% not worth it for me. But also working at the retail beverage store and then working at Wendy's, all these experiences have not only showed me what it means to be in a leadership position, but they also showed me that I have many capabilities and many opportunities presented in front of me. But if I keep doing the same actions, I will not only lose those opportunities, but I will continuously propel myself in the same situation where I'm starting over instead of building. That's why I'm building the consistency of staying at this new job, building the consistency of going to the gym, building the consistency of eating enough food to build up my body weight, and building the consistency of creating this content. As you've probably seen throughout my videos, if you've been watching dedicatedly, you'll see that my speaking has gotten better. I'm making less mistakes, and I'm feeling more comfortable in understanding where I want to take this channel. Although I do make mostly talking videos, I understand it's very important for somebody like me, especially being so young and the next adult in the world. It's very important for me to open up about my experiences for anybody who's a very avid YouTuber like me or a young watcher. I want you to understand that mistakes will 100% happen. Not everything is going to be perfect. But if you want to take advantage of the best position you could be in life, you not only need to understand what caused you to make those mistakes when you make them, but also understand what you need to do to not put yourself in that situation. Because a lot of people can make mistakes, but if you don't learn from those mistakes and actively take a step back and analyze if you were at fault, you won't understand what needs to be done or how you need to think or how you need to behave that will not allow you to be in that situation again and not make those same mistakes again. Because at the end of the day, one thing is certain: we all make choices, and it's the choices that we make that put us in certain positions that we're in. For example, it was a choice that I make to go to that interview on my day off that allowed me to not only move forward with the interview process for with Ruth's Chris, but also eventually get hired. And it's also my actions of writing that letter to my server when I wasn't supposed to that led me to get fired. So every action and everything that happens in life is a culmination of decisions you have made. That's why it's very important for us to be not only socially aware, but also self-aware, because we want to make the best choices for ourselves and for those around us, because you don't want to put yourself in a position where you compromise anything that's supposed to be a long-term good thing for you. And that's something that I have done recently, repeatedly, and I have understood that has kept me stuck, has kept me unable to see progress in my own life. And it's something that will keep me where I currently am if I don't understand the mental changes that I need to make, the personal changes that I need to make, and or the decision making changes that I need to make when it comes to doing what I know I'm supposed to do. Sorry again about all the whatever you seeing. There's people walking around in my neighborhood. It's a really nice day outside, so definitely don't want to have anybody not, you know, get distracted by what I'm doing. So let's just keep going on with the video. At least now, the goal when it comes to moving forward, as you've all seen, I'm not only going to start my job at Ruth's Chris soon. The background check is about 85% done. They've not only completed the social security check, they've completed the criminal history check, but they're 2 jobs away from completing my employment history check. So the main things that I was worried about have been checked, have been cleared, and I can 100% say at this point I will be starting as a manager at Ruth's Chris. It's just a waiting game for when I get contacted by HR. So it's all these decisions, all these choices, all these experiences that I've had that have allowed me to understand what I've done wrong, but also understand what I need to do in order to move forward. Because everybody is in a situation or has been in a situation like me where they've either messed up or put themselves in a regression phase because of choices and or decisions they made. So now the key is to understand what you did, what you need to do, and focus on not doing those things again. What I did was be very emotional by always letting myself get distracted by female attention, not only feeling desperate because I was wanting to be in a relationship, but also making choices that I know I shouldn't have because of the position that I was in. It's not good for someone like me, especially being so young and also trying to be successful, to fumble the bag and or jeopardize whatever position I could be in. Because at the end of the day, with especially how hard it is to get a job, I will not say I'm not blessed to have been able to go from job to job within this short period of time, because I know a lot of people around the world aren't able to really secure a job right now. So one of the main things I've learned is that yes, I can interview well, yes, I can land certain jobs, but that doesn't mean anything if I'm constantly getting fired and constantly moving from job to job. That realistically isn't sustainable, and it's not how you build wealth, and it's not how you build yourself up long term. The most successful people have been doing the same thing constantly over and over, and they've been consistent. I can say that I'm consistent in getting fired, but that's not something you want to be consistent in. You want to be consistent in building, you want to be consistent in creating, and you want to be consistent in learning. So the plan is to stay consistent. This job that I was able to get by the grace of God, that I feel so blessed to be able to get, I'm treating this as a career because I don't want to, nor do I see myself moving or looking for any other job. It's been now over a week and a half, and I can say I haven't filled out a single job application since, which is abnormal for someone like me, if I'm not working. I'd be filling out at least 20 applications a day. But considering the position that I'm in and considering that I just have to be patient, I'm just waiting, and my waiting has paid off. Not only will I be hearing back from HR by the end of the week, I know luckily or most likely by next week, Monday, I will be starting my new job, not only in a new position that is the same but higher end than Houlihan's, but also making more money than all the positions that I've been in the last 9 months and all the positions that I've been since I've been working at the age of 17. I'm now 26, and I can confidently say I've put myself and I've been able to go towards a direction that will allow me to build myself in a career. Regardless of what happens, that doesn't mean I'm going to stop creating. It means I'm going to start building. And to build, you must stay consistent. The building blocks of your life are very important. So let's make sure we all do what we need to stack them up as high as we can so we can get to the pinnacle of our potential. Every single one of you, like I will always repeat, is capable of great things, but you don't want to let yourself be held back by the actions you make, the choices you've made, and the decisions that you could potentially make in the future. You need to be not only competent, but you need to understand what's been hindering you from getting to where you need to be, whether it's people in your life, whether it's most likely you, or whether you just need to shift your mindset. All these things are very possible, but the key is to stay consistent with all the actions and all the key is to stay consistent with all the actions and all the mindset knowledge that you know is going to get you where you need to be. Sorry about the stuttering. You're still getting better with this, but at the end of the day, you're going to make mistakes. You just need to dust it off and not let it affect you. I'm still going to stumble every once in a while, but as I'm getting better speaking and making these videos, not only is my wording going to get better, not only is my pronunciation going to get better, but the way that I address all these topics and the way that I convey all these messages are going to get better. So that's why I'm here to help you guys. I'm here to share what I've experienced, especially being 26, being able to land a $72,000 annual job at the ripe age of 26, no college degree yet. But at the same time, I can say I have a lot of experience in the work environment that has allowed me to propel myself to this position. So that's why the goal is to start building and to stop chasing, because the more you chase, the faster whatever you're chasing runs away from you. And with that being said, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Please like and subscribe. We're almost at 100 subscribers, and I'll see you next time.